Hi all. In this video, I want to mainly talk about coding katas, but to do or to work on a coding kata, knowledge of TDD is very important. So let's start with first what TDD is all about. Uh, then we'll go further with what coding kata is. Uh, in the agenda we'll talk what is TDD, what is a kata, and then we'll have a demo of uh, this coding kata using TDD. TDD, what is TDD? First of all, TDD means test-driven development. Um, just a second. So TDD, as I said, it is test driven development. That is nothing but writing the unit tests before the production code is written. So this is counterintuitive to the traditional approaches, but we'll see what TDD is in depth in the coming slides. I would be wondering, like, wait, what? So the first step in the test driven development approach is you write a unit test which fails. So you don't have any production code at this point. So in such a point, you first start by writing a test which will obviously fail because there is no production code. So for example, here's an example here. Let's take a simple example that you want to write a program which tests for the leap year. So its input should be like you pass a year and it should say whether the year is leap year or not. So at this point here, this is the first test you're writing. So if you there is no production code written so far for this, you just write a test here. Definitely it will fail because there is no first of all, build will fail, so that also can be considered as a failing test itself. So what is the next step? Write just enough code so that the test which you wrote before the writing the production code passes. So at this step you just have to focus on passing the test, not more, not less than that. Just enough code to pass this test. So what would be the just enough code to pass the test? Here you just now write your code here, is leap year. Just enough code would be you have to return true. So when you return true, the test passes. So this is how in a nutshell you should start with the TDD process. And the final step is refactoring. So when you have enough lines of code or enough tests with you and all the tests are currently passing, you can go ahead and refactor the code. So we will see it in a bit detail in the later slide. So this is in general the technique of TDD. Write a failing test, then write just enough code so that the failing test passes now, and then if you see there is an opportunity to refactor, you refactor at the third phase. So if we continue with the example now, so now I'll write a new test where I'm passing a non-leap year. So here now what would be just enough code to make this test pass would be, you for now add a boolean condition. So I'll add a condition saying if the year is 2021, you return it as false. So this test now passes. Moving ahead, so at this point you see that we have couple of tests, and I think at this point you can go ahead and refactor the code a bit. So how would you do that? So you are now refactoring. Say you know that if year is divisible by 4, then it's a leap year, else it's not a leap year. So both these tests will pass at this point of time. There are other conditions also for a leap year which I'll not explain here. So this is the point of the example is just to give you an idea of what the test driven development is all about. So yeah, now let's see what are the advantages of test driven development. So with the TDD you will have since you are writing your tests before even writing the production code, you are making sure that the entire code is tested. So well tested code is an side effect of TDD. So writing, and the second point is you are writing the code with the tests in your mind initially. So this gives a different point of view to the way you write your code. And the code, since you have written all the tests before, the code by itself would become well testable. So the code written is testable code, and with good tests already written, it acts as a form of documentation for your APIs or something, whatever is there. So if the new person who joins the team, if he just goes through the tests for a particular class, he or she would get the idea of the usage, how the class is going to be used, or how the different members of the classes or methods can be used. So that is the advantage of TDD. Now let's go into coding kata. So what is a kata? Kata in its true form, it's actually an individual training exercise in martial arts like karate or some other martial arts. So kata is like, as you see here, this lady here, this is a force. So this is a simple force here. People who are learning this martial art would be asked to repeat some such simple step multiple times until they gain mastery on that particular small individual exercise. So similarly, coding kata is a small coding problem. By repeatedly doing it, we'll get the idea of how you can go ahead or do those things. So the idea is you do some things, you practice repeatedly and gain mastery over it. Okay, now let's probably go to a coding kata and see what coding kata is all about. So I'll take a simple example of Fizzbuzz kata. Okay, so first of all, where we can do these katas. So for that, yeah, we'll open a website called cyberdojo.org. I'll give you the description. I'll give you the link on the descriptions here. So once you open the site, you have some options here. You can do a group exercise, but for now we'll go with the individual exercise. So we'll click on I am on my own, and then you click on I'll create a new single exercise. Here there are multiple problems. These are the multiple katas which I just spoke about. So we'll pick one, the Fizzbuzz kata, and it allows you have to pick the test framework later, language and your test framework. So I'll pick C# and NUnit here, but as you can see here, there are various different languages which you can select, and also the testing framework which you can select here. So if you are a C++ developer, you can select these things. If you are Python developers or JavaScript, there are options for almost many languages and the test frameworks. So then you click on next. There are couple more clicks here to give. You confirm here and you just say enter the exercise. So here it gives you these templates here. README explains what the problem is, and some default file names are given. This is where you can implement your class. This is hikertest.cs is a file which where you are supposed to implement your tests. So to run this, you can click on test here. So this would run the test which is written in Hiker test, and for now, if you can see red here, red indicates that this test failed. So expected value was 42, but it was giving it as 54. So to just pass this test, you can go ahead and change this value here and it will pass. But for now, we'll look at what to do with the FizzBuzz kata, which we originally planned to do now. So this is a simple kata where you have to write a program which prints the numbers from 1 to 100. But so 1 to 100 you have to print here, but whenever you encounter a multiple of 3, you should print fizz instead of 3. 3, 6, 9, instead of 3, 6, 9, you should print fizz, fizz, fizz. And whenever you encounter a multiple of 5, you have to print buzz. Whenever you encounter a multiple of both 3 and 5, you have to print fizz buzz. So let's see how we can use the approach of TDD, which we discussed just before this part, and develop our work on our kata. So for the sake of simplicity, I'll try to implement my FizzBuzz here itself so that we don't have to switch between different files. So first thing what I'll do is I'll write a failing test. So we'll rename this test test FizzBuzz, okay, and I'll change this class to print FizzBuzz, and it should take an input argument, say 20, say 1, and expected output should be, it should print 1. So now I'll run this test. It should fail. Notice that I haven't written any production code as such. I have not written any implementation, so this fails because the print FizzBuzz method is not found. So I go back to the class, to the test class. I'll write a method. So this should return me a string, and it will take int as a number. And what is just enough code that I have to write here so that I can make this test pass? It should be return 1. So I expect the test to pass here. Yes, we can see that we have a green here. Green means we have passed. So far we are going good. At this point I don't see anything to be refactored. So now what I can do is, instead of making it as a test, I can make it test case, and I can pass the input would be my input, output, I'll take the input and output, int input or int number, string expected output. So here I can replace this with expected output. Here I can pass number. So at this point, this is a refactoring of a test here. Why I'm doing this is, with this test case I can pass in multiple variables. So this passed here, so I can now test, I can just repeat this with, say, if when I pass 2, it should give me an output of 2. So I have written a test now. I have to run the test, so the test should fail. So we'll be, so yeah, we have a failing test. Now we go ahead and implement it just enough to pass the test. So if number equal to 2, return 2. Yes, so this should just pass the test. Okay, yeah, sorry, I should return a string. There you go. Yeah, this has passed the test. So now go back to the test here. At this point I realized that by just returning the number dot to string would give me 1 2 3. So I'll try to refactor here. I'll just return number dot to string, and I hope it passes. Let me see. Yep, it passes here. So now I'll go and add the fizz condition. So when I pass 3, it should return me fizz, F-I-Z-Z. So I run the test and it should fail here. Yes, it is failing. You can see the red, and also the details are shown here. So expected was fizz, but it returns 3. So I go ahead and I start with the baby steps. That is like, if number is equal to 3, I return fizz. So this passes this test. Yeah, this is mainly the idea which I wanted to give you guys. I can continue. So in the same way, now I can add 4, it should go to this condition, and I go to 5, I have another condition, it should go and return buzz, then multiples of 3. Finally you try to extract the method, whether it's a multiple of 3, then you return fizz. If it's a multiple of 5, you return buzz. When it's multiple of both, you return fizz buzz, so on and so forth. But this is the idea, and cyberdojo.org is a very good website where you can keep coming back to it and work on your different katas and gain expertise in coding katas. Yeah, I'll give the link of CyberDojo in the description. Please make use of it. This is a free tool, free website where you can go and learn for yourself and gain mastery over any coding languages. So yeah, wish you good luck in your learning. That's all. Thank you. Bye.